Welcome to the Bring Yourself Home podcast. I am your host, Jill Lindsay. I am the owner of Essence Healing in Vancouver, Canada, and I am also the creator behind Bring Yourself Home podcast. This podcast is here to help you learn the tools you can use to balance your energy and to get to know yourself on a deeper level through self-inquiry and self-discovery. Best of all, to support you in learning how to understand your own unique energetic connection to the universal life force energy. I recently discovered my ability, and one of my energetic gifts is to channel energetic forecasts by tapping into the elemental energies. What is upcoming with the current universal energy and for this planet and the collective. Each week I will channel messages from the elemental energies of fire, earth, air, water, and ether to support us with what we can be more aware of along our energetic journey. Welcome to episode 1 of the Bring Yourself Home podcast. I am your host, Jill Lindsay. I'm so excited to be stepping into this realm. I have been communicating on Instagram and other channels, just trying to find and navigate a way to share the information that I want to teach with you. And I found that this is the first episode, so it'll evolve from where we are going. And as I start, it is 1:11 on my phone. So that's guidance for me to know that this is something that will be so wonderful for the future. I'm really excited to be able to have a little bit more time to chat with you and to share information. I wanted to just step in to tell you a little bit about my process and how this kind of came to be. The process that I use to channel energy and information is one that has evolved over time with practice and may not be traditional to other readings or techniques you have come across or worked with in the past. It became new for me along my journey, as well as it will be new for you. The strongest and deepest connection that I feel that I have to the greater universal energy is my connection through Reiki. Through the messaging that I have received and from what I have experienced is that my nurtured connection to the universal life force energy creates a pathway for the information that I am receiving. This has grown stronger and developed over time as I continue to balance and learn and practice using my unique energetic connection. We each have our own individual connection to this life force energy, which is a connection that you can experience during a Reiki session with any Reiki practitioner, or you're able to learn how to do Reiki and experience this connection through your own practice. I have practiced Reiki for about 1.5 years now. I've been trained in Reiki, Holy Fire, and Usui. I have found a really powerful, profound connection to a greater energy. It's changed my life for the greater. I will share with you that journey probably in another episode. I have also studied reading Akashic records. I have studied 200 hours of yoga teacher training, which includes some more understanding around the chakras and our energy centers. And I've studied a little into Ayurvedic. Most of the things that I've studied and looked at have been just through my own self-inquiry, own investigation on health and different things that I wanted to explore and change and work through, like different things that I've experienced physically. Again, I will get into that in another episode. So much to share with you guys. What is unique about how I work and channel energy is my relationship with the elements themselves. The elements being, there are 5 that I work with. Most people talk about 4, but the 5 elements that are present within the whole of the energetic system within the universe and are also present within you. These elements are fire, earth, air, water, and ether. It's the space that everything is held within. So it's a much greater kind of idea around, it's a little bit different than the elements themselves. Each of the different elements have a unique set of energetic qualities that fluctuate within the system depending on the environment, your emotions within yourself, which then translate to how we experience our life at any given moment or time. Of the many tools that I've learned and worked with, the elements have been present in all of the teachings and all of the self-study learning that I have been able to experience and encounter along my path. For example, through yoga teacher training and my Reiki Master certification, as well as through my own research and self-study, as I mentioned before. There is a long list of things that I've looked into and researched organically as I've gone through my own life experiences and to understand the spiritual kind of path and the energetics of myself. Things like astrology, like natal charts, Ayurveda, the chakra system or energy centers, and how there's distinctions between each one of those, tarot cards, and the four different categories within. There's lots involved in tarot cards as well. Our planet, obviously, we can find the elements in many different places in physical form. And then the different seasons itself have very weighted distinctions of how these energies play within. And then the seasons, this was a fascinating one to me that I'm still learning about, but the seasons of our menstrual cycle. So similar how the seasons of the planet, we have our menstrual cycle also as women line up to a similar cadence. And then as well as other shamanic practices that are out there. So all of these things, the elements are just present in everywhere you look. Even the directions north, west, south, east, there's a distinct element for each one of those. So as we expand out and look at things in the system of energy, this system is present in the cadence of all living things, different scales within the systems within the system. But what I'm saying is the elements as a system are present everywhere you look, which I found so fascinating and cool. And I've always been drawn to the elements, even wanting to get the tattoo of the glyphs of how the elements are represented that way. So excited to kind of find this out. And you will hear in the energy forecast, it was a thing that came to me that I really am going to go off of and start to understand and dig deeper. It helps me understand some of the other modalities that are out there. And I love this idea of almost like bringing these modalities kind of together, or just the elements can kind of navigate you to different things for your own journey to understand and learn from. But for me, what I found is that the Reiki energy is what brought me to this information. So Reiki is the foundation for me, for the connection to the universe, to understanding intuition, to understanding and reading my own energy. And I have this opportunity now to be able to share this with others, which is so profound. It honestly makes me want to cry every time. It gets me emotional. Every Reiki session that I do is so powerful and different and distinct to that person, and the connection that we can have one-on-one to have a conversation about what the client's experience was compared to what I intuitively understand. It's, again, that word profound. It's amazing how these things line up in different ways. And then after each Reiki session, things continue to evolve and become into our awareness, and we can continue this journey of self-discovery, leading us towards our highest good and who we are here to be. I almost sometimes don't have words to say around it, but I'd love if you have any questions around the practice of Reiki, or even just this new sort of idea of how the elements can be represented through everything. I'm going to be digging into it and trying to understand it more, and as I do that, I want to share it with you. With that, I'm going to go into the energy forecast. So as mentioned before, I will be doing these energy forecasts each week. There is a goal to do this for every Monday. The idea is to channel energy for the collective. And I'm going to be asking the universal energy which element is present, how is this lining up for us right now, what message does this element bring forth to us. This could relate to many of you in different ways. You will experience it based on your own perception and where you are at energetically. Everything that we perceive is messages for us to either investigate, to understand, to learn from, to be guided by. So that is something I'm excited to just bring. These messages will be kind of a surprise for me each time. So there'll be lessons for myself, as well as I can share those lessons, what kind of tools and what kind of things we can navigate to dive deeper if that is the case. Read this forecast on January 7th, 2020. Reading towards the full moon in Cancer, which is today, January 10th. Also, what's happening right now is the prenumeral lunar eclipse. This full moon is called the wolf moon. So this powerful energy is going on right now. The prenumeral eclipse occurs when the moon passes through the Earth's partial shadow, penumbra. During this type of eclipse, the moon is darkened slightly, but not completely. This eclipse will be visible throughout most of Europe, Africa, Asia, the Indian Ocean, and West Australia. So this is not something that we will see on Canada, North America, but we will, of course, feel the energies, and the energies will be present to us. Right now, today, and over the last few days, I have felt a little bit of tension in my back, as well as I feel quite a lot of pressure in my head. And normally when I feel pressure in my head, I just know that there's a bigger energy present, and it's just an awareness for me to kind of take some time to step back and just service myself, get grounded again, and that there's so many messages that we can interpret and perceive from these things as we start to learn how to tap into our own energy, reading our own energy. So eclipse energy, if you haven't heard of how eclipse energy kind of works within the system, The lunar eclipse happens twice a year on a full moon, and the energies present at that full moon is dependent on where planets reside in that particular snapshot of time. And the eclipse during a full moon supercharges the current energy. What is important for us to know and me to share is that we are all unique, and your perception of your experience with these energies will be specific to you. So don't worry too much about what someone else thinks. It's cool to be curious about what someone else perceives their energy as, or what they're going through, because this can also be a reflection back to you as something to look at or just understand. So you just look at energies with curiosity. What is going on for others? Look at it with curiosity. We can, and I have, and so at so many points in time, be very reactory to different things, and it's just I have to pull myself back and understand that this is just a mirror back to me to understand something about myself and why am I perceiving that this way, because we are all in control of our own perception and how we see everything outside. Whatever we see outside is kind of reflected for what's within. I wanted to also share that I am not an astrologer, but I do pick up on energies. I don't tend to fuss too much about my natal chart or certain meanings of astrological events, just the general and the basis of it as a framework to kind of go off of. But I much prefer to tap into my own intuition and my own energy first to see what's present for myself and the community. I love to read up about all of it after. I do spend quite a bit of time looking at others and just understanding like the communal energy after I've gotten my own impression first. I think this is really an important practice, especially when you want to develop your intuition and trust with yourself and what you're seeing and hearing. I would always try to recommend to even do a meditation first thing in the morning before you look at the news or before you head out on your day. Like, service yourself first and foremost before other impressions can come into play. Before you see a perception of something unbalanced for yourself. So balance yourself first, and then you may perceive different things throughout the day that you'd prefer to experience other than rushing out the door and getting something reflected back to you that is uncomfortable. So this is a practice that I like to do. I, again, can share so much more with you later. I realize I have so much to tell you. It is so freaking exciting. So the reason that I'm doing an energetic forecast is to help line up the week ahead, to bring forward messages that you can perceive. If you perceive them a certain way, this is just your reflection on some things that you should be in awareness of over that time. Of course, we will all resonate differently with what comes through, and this is just a practice of trust and curiosity for yourself. So once I read through the reading, you can even listen to it a couple of times. There's a couple of questions that get asked through it. So just go with the flow with it and see what comes and see what kind of catches your attention and go with it. So when I do the reading, it's sort of like a conversation with the universal life force energy. The universal life force energy is a connection I learned through my Reiki master training. This is something I resonate with very much so. There may be other other titles that you use to represent this energy for yourself, you may not have experienced it before the same. There's different words for it through all the different modalities that I listed earlier. So it's really up to you how you define the feelings of your connection with this energy, how you connect with it. So here is my conversation with the universal life force energy as of January 7th, 2020. So I asked the question, I will always ask this question, what element is present for this reading? The answer is ether and water. What can you share with the Bring Yourself Home podcast community about the full moon and the energy that are to come? The answer was quick and short. Support yourself. How can you support yourself? How can you nourish yourself and your body? How can you be kind to yourself? There is more work to be done within to clear, to make space, to expand, in order to be of presence, in order to hear clear messages from your intuition. Another question that I asked was, can you share about the full moon energy and the forecast January 10th, 2020? The answer is a longer one, so go with me here and just listen in. You can even close your eyes as you listen. It is time to nurture divine presence, to reflect upon what you can celebrate from the past 7 days and what you can celebrate, and then what's next for the next 348 days. There is no pressure to do this quickly, to do this rapidly. You need to take care of yourself. Take the time that is needed for the messages to come. You may need to create space for yourself to do so. What are you feeling called to right now? What is your body telling you right now? You are a vessel with the same systematic qualities of the planet itself. We as human beings are made of energetic qualities of earth, air, water, fire, and ether. You as a unique individual, is a unique soul, have a different balance of these qualities at different times depending on where you're at. The balance of these energies you carry are specific to you and your greatest gifts. As these energies fluctuate within the body, within the mind, we are affected from the balance of the systems around us as well. We must do our best to understand what alignment means for each of us individually so that we can begin to live and lead a life we love, so that we can share the gifts we are meant to share with the world. All messages received from the highest good of the community, the planet itself, is mirroring back to us. Each message may be received and interpreted differently for each individual listening. You are not just water energy. You are an energetic system with all the elements present, all the qualities of the elements present. For each individual has a unique combination of these elemental qualities applied to each area of their life. And it is up to each individual to learn and understand how to balance their energetic combination. You have been given a specific balance of each of these qualities to work with, to help you to discover the best version of you. Experience life as the whole version of yourself. With this balance comes both dark aspects and also the brightest of light within. We've been given each a unique path of discovery. Take your time setting your goals, get creative, and have fun with it. Change is all about evolution of your journey and the lessons you can learn through change and adaptation. It's so fun reading back the messages that come through, because it doesn't feel like my word. It feels like it's coming from somewhere bigger, and it's kind of poetic and just really beautiful to listen to. As you can hear, there is no judgment behind it. There is just factual and like to the point and beauty and so much love in all of those words. So I love channeling messages this way. I forgot to mention in the beginning of how I channel this. It's a little bit of a combined practice of clearing my energy through Reiki energy, and then I utilize the Akashic Record prayer, which I've sort of reworded in a way just to resonate with myself. I've practiced with it quite a few times, and it just, things came through so much clearer when I rewrote it for myself. So again, there's so many ways that you can really tap into your own energy, and it just is such an important message to know that you are the investigator. You are the person that is going to find out the information that you need for you. You are the one that is going to find the answers within. Again, there's so much out there, but it's how we perceive things. So if we work within, we can start to perceive things in the way that we hope to see. When I say perception, it's like perception can also be the idea around what we see in terms of synchronicities and things that like kind of surprise us. So it's just the kind of what glimpses you get based on your energy out in the world. I love this way of looking at it. You see the world in such a different way. So I'm going to sign off now. I really love this community already. This is the first episode even, so I'm excited to share more. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you listened, just leave a little review and let me know if you have any questions or how it might have resonated, and just get excited with me, because this is so rad. This is just something I didn't think I would ever be doing, but I'm so grateful to be here and to be able to share with you. So thank you for listening to the Bring Yourself Home podcast, episode 1. This was such a blast. I would love to know if it resonates. So yes, again, please leave a review or DM me. Follow me on Instagram at BYH Podcast. Love and light to you. Your host, Jill Lindsay. Sending love.